Hey y'all, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and welcome back to another episode of Living Ardently. Like I said, we're trying to get back to the 2 episode thing a month. We're still working on it. It still takes some time to kind of find our rhythm. Obviously, there has been no chance to get rhythm since we recorded this episode, which was like just before Thanksgiving, just before, like right after we recorded, I went on vacation for like 2 weeks in Florida. We got back, and then like 2 weeks it was Christmas, and so it just kept going. And now it's New Year's, and in about 2 to 3 weeks, baby's about to come here anytime now. So it's hard to kind of find the rhythm, but we're gonna get there. And when we do, it'll be great. But bear with us at the time. We might just kind of consistently do one episode for now, but the goal is by the end of 2022 to be at a 2 episode a month pace. But today's episode is with Stephen Nagino, our co-host. We are talking about creativity, why it's necessary, and why we believe that everybody has something that they're creative in and they can do really well, and you just don't know it yet. Some of you might not know it. Some of you may really know it well and do it well, but some of us might not see ourselves as creative. But we believe that all of us have some sort of way that we are creative, and that the church, our world, needs it. So we talk about our hardships and finding that, and how we get to find how we are creative and what we do, and some advice on how to find that. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. Hope you find some value in it. And until next time, keep living ardently. Let us know how you enjoy this episode, and we hope to expand on this topic in the future too. So yeah, enjoy it. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Peace. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Living Ardently. We're your host, Adrian Giraldi, and
Stephen Nagino.
We are excited to be back. We're going to be talking about creativity today, and why it's necessary for just our entire world and our church. So yeah, let's get into it. So it's been some time.
Yes.
But both of us have a life that is crazy and full of stuff, but a blessing to have all of these things. So bear with us as we continue to kind of figure this out. Steve, since you were here, it was like summertime, and now it's like about to be winter / it is winter. I had to scrape snow off of my car on Monday. It was great.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. As a Floridian, I was like, what the heck am I doing?
Oh my gosh.
But how you been since then?
Well, to say not much has happened would be a lie, because a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Since the last time we spoke, I'm no longer working for the Office of Youth Ministry with the Archdiocese.
Right.
I'm working now for Don Bosco Prep High School in Ramsey, New Jersey. So it's great to be at another Salesian school. And I'm their media specialist, along with teaching 4 courses there at the school. But even more exciting is that the same week that I was hired by the school, Emily came out to me one day as I was sitting on the couch, and she said to me, "Stephen, I think I'm pregnant." So a couple pregnancy tests later, like multiple, just to make sure, like, is this thing reading the right like the plus is supposed to line up with right? Like, that means I'm like, did you see this? You see what I'm seeing? So yes, we have a baby coming at the end of April 28th.
Hey.
And we feel very blessed, and also found out is going to be a girl.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I hope she doesn't have as much facial hair as her father. But if she got that height, she's going D1, baby.
D1, let's go. Our girls can be friends. For those who don't know, I'm also having a girl. Me and Sarah announced it on our social media platform, but it's, we're super excited. It's surreal, like, to think that now there's like having a daughter is like, it's a kind of a daunting task, I think, as fathers, you know, like you just want to protect them. I think immediately after you find that out. I mean, you want to protect a boy too, but even more so, you know, with all the things that go on, and you want to be that dad. And I can see why some dads are super helicopter dads with their daughters. I understand.
Absolutely. Like I was watching TV, like, you know, a couple of days ago, actually, and I forgot what movie it was, but basically like this girl was like being chased down and someone was trying to like hurt her. And I was like, I don't like this. This is not right. Nobody should be chasing it. And it's like just thinking automatically, like if that was my daughter in that situation, I would like Liam Neeson and Taken. Like I am prepared for that. And like, what I'm about to tell you, I have a very specific set of skills.
I will kill you.
I will find you. And I will pray for you. You know, we got to keep it, you know, somewhat PG-13 on here. Right? No, but it's been such a blessing just to, you know, to be walking this journey, especially with Emily, and, you know, being blessed with a child, and, you know, thank God she's been feeling well and all of the checkups have been good. Yeah. So at the time of this recording, she's 17 weeks along now. Let's go. Very, very excited to meet this little girl.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you guys. I was really like pumped to see. Also, like we loved your like announcement photos. So good, really great.
Thank you.
Sarah's like, of course they have like the perfect like photos. It's like so cute. I was like, man, we should have done something like that. I was like, no, we're good. You know, don't compare yourself.
No, I love what you guys do. You guys made the video compilation of everybody finding out. Like I was honored to be a part of it. I saw myself and I was like, that's me. But the funny part is like, I've got cameras and whatnot, but Emily's younger brother is super, super talented when it comes to photography and like composition and framing. So he's the one who took those shots. Really? And nice. Yeah. And even some of our engagement pictures, but we had another friend who's a professional photographer help us out with that. But our first shots, he's great, but super awesome. Creative kid.
Oh, speaking of, we'll be diving into that a little bit. But yeah, creativity is going to be our talk. If you guys didn't hear in the beginning, which you probably should have at this point, like you're like 10 minutes into this podcast, you saw the title, you probably should know that we're talking about creativity. But before we do that, I'll give a quick update on what's been going on over the Giraldi household. Sarah's been, like as you guys heard in a few episodes ago, she had a pretty rough pregnancy in the beginning, but she's doing great now. She's able to eat. She's just having, regular pregnant, like I got to catch my breath after walking like 15 steps, because that's just what pregnant women have to do. And bless our wives for, and all the women who have to, who are mothers to, and all that they do, because I can't imagine having to go through all that stuff, because they are some great people, and women are just like amazing. So like, thank you to all the moms out there and those soon to be moms, because I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. It'd be really tough.
Physically. Yeah. That's like a thing.
Right.
No, but they are absolutely incredible. And we're so happy to hear that Sarah's feeling better and doing better. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and work's doing great. We're doing great stuff over at Grotto. So if you haven't figured that out, go check it out. At this point, I think of this release, we have started our new branch of our ministry called Grotto Chicago, which is where we're trying to transition to doing some stuff online and going to doing it in person over in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, go check out Grotto Chicago Instagram handle. And check us out. Share us with your friends. We're going to be posting a bunch of great stuff and collaborating with some great people over in Chicago, the Chicago region. And eventually, hopefully, we'll come to a city near you. New York, California, Florida, who knows? But Chicago is the first step to that. So go check us out there. And yeah, life's great. I don't know what time frame this will be posted, but I know it's in December. And we launch in December 1st. So it'll be great.
Very cool. Very cool.
So creativity. Steve, I take you as one of the most creative people I know.
Thank you. I'm honestly flattered.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, how we met,
I think we've talked about this before. It was a giveaway that I did with my t-shirt company. And that was my first way of getting like diving into creativity, like designing t-shirts. Like I did like graphic design in high school and in middle school, and really wanted, and I was in college and I really wanted to, put that into play. I love the, back in the day, it was like the hype beast culture was like Supreme. Supreme's still kind of a thing. Obey, all these companies that just had that red box logo. And I just really wanted to make it different. That was Christian based. And so I slapped my favorite, a word for my favorite scripture verse at the time. And I just put redeemed on it. You can see for those who are watching on YouTube. Those watching on YouTube can see redeemed on this sticker. This is like from the first design that I made from the t-shirts. And it was from Isaiah 43:1, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I've called you by name. You are mine. It was just like one of those, my conversion, verses that, kind of helped me dive into a deeper spirituality and love for Christ. But yeah. And then I did a giveaway and Steve won that giveaway. And that's kind of how we met. And when I found you, you were doing some stuff like with Ray of Hope, but then you started doing stuff by yourself with Bosco Beats. And I just saw like how you were able to take music and make it fun and make it for the Lord. And it was just really awesome. And so creativity, we all went through this kind of this journey of finding that, how we can be creative. And again, like both of us, we kind of like wanted to use it for the Lord, right? For our church. So right. How did you get to that point?
So for me, I think it was interesting growing up because I had a lot of creative people around me. I could say like my mom, she told me that when I was in her womb, she started taking piano lessons. And I think that like seeped into my DNA because when I hear music, it just, is awesome. And I respond in a completely different way. And when I pray, I love to listen to music or to make music with prayer. My older brother started taking guitar lessons. I'd watch him play the guitar. I'd pick up his guitar when he wasn't in the room and try to strum and look up stuff on YouTube. But when I was in kindergarten, my teacher brought in her son for a show and tell, and he played the saxophone. So from the age of however old you are in kindergarten, I was begging my parents, please, 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 I want to learn how to play the saxophone. And in the second grade, I started taking lessons and I still play today. And I love playing the saxophone. I can just, pick it up and play along to whatever it is. No sheet music, no practice. Just give me the sound and I'll make it happen. But there's something that's very, I don't know if necessarily the word is freeing, but I think it's like edifying to have an idea in your head or a thought, and then be able to produce that and to put it out there and to be creative, to share what you created with other people and have them enjoy it. And I guess another aspect of that too, from when I was younger, is I love skateboarding. Like I still love skateboarding. I don't do it as much, but if you give me a board and like tell me to like do a kickflip, like I'll make it happen. I don't know how many tries it's going to take, but I'll definitely get it.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Yeah. And so from a young age, like I wanted to build like ramps and skate parks and different things like that. But I thought it was such a cool process to see a blueprint of a half pipe and to know that there are these specific materials out there that we were all capable of finding and putting this thing together by following the directions. And then after you have this blueprint that you're working with, you could begin to put in your own twist and your own sort of, creative flair into it. Right. And that's how life is. It's like we have this blueprint that we follow. And then as we understand it and begin to see, okay, this is who I am. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm called to do. This is who I'm called to be. Now I'm going to start to be me and like have some flair with it and have some, creativity in what we do. Nobody wants to be cookie cutter, but it's all about how you decorate it. You put some sprinkles on it, add a little extra icing, get some chocolate chips to make the eyes. Nobody says they want to be cookie cutter, but we kind of all are in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But we are all able to put our twist on it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like finding that and finding how what twists you're going to bring to the table or to this world is a journey that we all kind of go through in our like young like middle school, high school, like really in high school is I think where it really starts. I mean, for some, it really starts when they're younger and they're like, you get these people from on America's Got Talent who are like 10 years old, who are like master piano players or, you know, whatever. It's like amazing to see these things because it's something that for most of us kind of happen a little bit later in life as we experience more of this world. But for some, it just comes easily. For myself, I felt like I was a late bloomer in figuring out this whole creativity thing where I could actually be creative. Because I just felt like I didn't really have many ways to be creative. Like, yeah, I could color in the lines pretty well when I was young, but like that drawing counts. Something from scratch. Yeah, coloring does count, but drawing something from scratch, like some of my friends were able to do, could never, you know, without tracing, like doesn't compute in my mind. And then for some, like, you know, I had friends who had really great penmanship or, you know, who were really good at skateboarding or like playing the guitar in high school. I'm like, man, I want to be like them. And I, so much so that I bought a guitar, tried to learn it, was too hard. I felt like I had really small fingers. My arm, like my fingers could not stretch to the way that others could, you know? And, I just felt like I gave up and I didn't feel like very like intelligent, like smart, like book smart either. So like, I felt like at some point I went to this crisis, like, man, what am I actually good at? Like, you know, I'm not athletic like some people. I'm not like musically advanced like some others, you know, like I do have, but I slowly was like, it was right in front of my eyes. Like, dude, you're really good at media. like creatively, when you're telling the story, you have this ability to do that and to talk about it. And I don't remember how exactly that came about. I just think I just kept on pursuing it in high school, and then in college I was doing graphic design and things like that. It's like, yeah, things that are the things that you're really good at just sometimes don't are right in front of your eyes. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It helps. It helps a lot when someone else comes up to you and is like, hey, that was incredible. And you're like, wait, but that was nothing. Like I do that all the time. Like, right. But that's special and that's unique to you. And that's something that you have that you can share out with people and inspire and encourage. And I think that when we meet those people who are able to see the gifts that we have within ourselves, it helps to open that door and to break through that uncomfort and unsurety in where we're at. But one of the things that you kind of jogged my memory, and I just wanted to kind of like throw this back out at you, when you're talking about penmanship and you know, friends who had like great handwriting, all that kind of stuff. When I was in grammar school, I would think to myself that if I asked someone to borrow their pen or their pencil, that I would then like take on their penmanship. So like whenever I didn't have like something to write with, I like the kid who had the nicest handwriting, I'd be like, can I borrow your pen? And then like they give me their pen and I was like, the power is in my I was like the power of penmanship. Yeah. And I snap my fingers and like all the homework is done. I wish. But like I would start writing and then like I was like, dang, it's just my hand. Like give it back to them. Right. Yeah. But like thinking that you could get like somebody else's creativity by like taking their guitar or like taking their skateboard or whatever it might be, like, no, the creativity like comes from within you.
Right. And like I said, it takes some time for some people to realize that, like it did for me, but it takes, like Steve said, one person to figure that out. It can be a teacher, it can be a friend, it can be like a mentor of yours. If you have one, like I always talk about having a mentor of some sort in whatever you want to do, especially when you figure out what you want to do. Like Jarrell became that for me. Like he was doing great things with The Living Person and, you know, starting Living Ardently. I looked up to him a lot, and he became a co-host of mine. And so I got to talk to him so much about the inner workings of how to quote unquote be successful, or to do this well, you know, rather to do the podcasting, to collaborate with people. And a lot of my confidence came from his, you know, affirmations of what I was doing well and his criticisms of what I should do better, you know? And so finding that and having that is so crucial. Steve, you get a chance to do that probably with your students and teaching them all this stuff. So are you able to see that in some of your students that are really good at this, but haven't quite figured that out yet?
100%. So apart from teaching media courses and being the media specialist, I'm also the I guess, the person in charge of the media club. And in this club, I've got about 30 students who we meet once a week, but they all have various projects. And the big thing this year is kids want to make podcasts. And so we've got a media closet where I have microphones set up. I've got an old laptop where I'm like, listen, you can record on here. This stuff works. Like, trust me. Yeah. And, they just need someone to show them the way a little bit. And they're like, what do we do? And I'm like, turn the mics on, press record, and just have a conversation. Right. Yeah, just start talking. And I was like, what do you guys like? Like, oh, well, we like soccer. I'm like, talk about soccer. Talk about, what's going on overseas in our high school with our own soccer team. And these kids have been meeting literally every single day and recording like a mini episode every day. But the more they do it, I can hear them like on the other side of the wall, like laughing and having fun and telling jokes. But the first day they said, like, what do we do? And I was like, you guys are here. You got this. You got microphones. Just start. Right. And I think that, it's like the mama bird in the nest, like pushing the little birds out. Like, listen, I know your wings are working. I know you got this, but we need that push of encouragement, but also that push to know, like, hey, if you get uncomfortable, like, I'm still here and I'm going to cheer you on. And if you get stuck, I'm going to point you in the right direction. Now, I don't want to make the project for you. I don't want you to say like, hey, can you do this for me? But I will 100% be on your side to see you be successful and to be like happy and joyful. And I think that when it comes to creativity, it's like if somebody has a negative experience in an art class or public speaking, specifically public speaking. I'm not raising my hand because of me, but I'm like, but they have these experiences like, oh, never again. And they completely shut this door of like, we were made to be co-creators with the creator of all things. So if we're able to encourage each other in that sense, it's incredible what we're able to accomplish.
Right. It's so great to have that in mind as you're starting to figure it out. Like the desire for creativity that's inside you comes from the creator himself. And when you start to use that creativity, you guys are co-creating with the Lord. And it's a beautiful thing. And when, like I said, when we started our stuff, we wanted to do this stuff for our faith, the thing that meant so much to us. And, our church needs it. Our church is constantly growing and it's still growing to this day. It's a young church still, obviously. I mean, it's old. It's an old church, but it's honestly still so young. And there's so much growth that can happen in the few years. I mean, like even design wise, like not to say anything bad things about the Synod's design that's going on right now. That Synod design was ugly. It was bad. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like crayons. You haven't seen it? I have to show you this. No. I have to show you the Synod.
Share that screen. Share that. What?
This is the Synod's design for the 2021-2023. It's literally crayons. And I was like, there's no way that this is the best thing that they could come up with.
That's so bad. Sorry. That's horrible. That is so bad. Honestly, like they could Google like graphic design trends 2021 and be like, oh, this is what we should have done.
Right.
That's just so bad. But again, I went to, oh my goodness, what was the name of the conference? Youth Ministers Training Conference with Life Teen. And David Calavita, who's graphic designer for Life Teen, said to the crowd, who told you that when you write in your bulletin, you have to use papyrus font? He's like, enough of that. Seriously.
Right.
It's like, everybody's like, oh, I'm writing this for the church. I have to do it in this font. Oh, I'm putting this message out for the church. I have to do it in this way. Like, do something creative. Do something that's going to, people are going to say, was that like a Nike commercial or was that someone's like inviting me to come to mass? Like that would be incredible.
Right.
I think we need more of that.
We do. And we really, our church like definitely desires like needs that. And that's why I love the Catholic creative community and seeing all these, photographers and videographers using their talents to create things like this. even with street apparel, like Jarrell had, for those of you who followed The Living Person from the start, Jarrell had like his clothing line that really got a lot of traction because of how most of his designs replicated a lot of the common streetwear, which is what I was trying to do with my original t-shirt company, to take streetwear designs and just kind of make them Christian, Catholic, and that's what attracts to people. And, like, oh, like what does that shirt mean? Like, why is that looks really dope? Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Baptize the culture, they say. Right.
And it's like speaking in the vernacular and using and teaching, our church, the people around us how to do this. Our church definitely needs this and it needs your creativity. So in the second half of this episode, we're going to come back and talk about how some tips of how you can get to that point. And, if you're still struggling like I was for a while to figure out that how I could be creative and how I got to Living Ardently, we're going to give you some tips on how to figure that out. So we'll be right back after this break.
Peace.
If you did not know, Living Ardently is now an affiliate with Be a Heart Design. Be a Heart has a bunch of great things for you and your family. So if you want to go get something, use our affiliate link in our show notes, and then you can use our promo code Ardently10 for 10% off your purchase. Everything that we make goes straight back into our podcast, so you'll be supporting our ministry. Again, so if you want to get something nice for yourself, for your friends, or your family, go to Be a Heart using our affiliate link. Use our promo code Ardently10 for 10% off. And not only will you be helping the ministry here at Living Ardently, but you'll be getting something cool too. Again, link in the show notes, Ardently10. Let's get back to it.
All right, we are back with my friend, my co-host, Steve Aguino.
What's up?
What up? It's been some time, but we were talking about creativity the first half of this episode. If you are just tuning in, we had a really great conversation of why creativity is necessary and how to find it. We're about to get into how we can find it if we're still struggling to do that. So we want to give you some tips and what helped us in our journeys to find these moments of great, what we were good at. Steve, you, like I said, you do a ton of stuff and a lot of stuff that you do well creatively. And, but how did you get to this point where you knew where to find, I'm really good at this and I'm going to hone in on this stuff, like especially with your, whether it be your music or your media, what got you to that point?
Well, I'll start with music and then kind of go over to the media aspect. But I think with music, it was a lot of practice. But also there was those moments of those seasons of like dryness of like, okay, maybe I'm not good. And then somebody hears you play and they're like, oh, wow, this is actually good. And they continue to motivate you and encourage and inspire. And I think too, what's important is, almost holding your art up to other pieces of art and saying, I like this. How do I compare, but not in the negative sense of comparison, but how can I get my work to get closer to this? Or how can I, where am I going wrong? But with music, what was helpful is, of course, creating projects and making things and letting people listen to it and share it out. And for them to say, hey, this is pretty good. Or as you start to get that positive feedback, because if you're just, making music and everybody's like, this is trash, then maybe it is. And you should reevaluate if you're really called to make music or not. So for those of you listening out there, if you got a SoundCloud and everybody's just like, no, sorry, you're not that person. But trust me, Pat, you're not that guy. You're not that guy, Pat. Not that guy. Because, you could be singing, I'm an island boy. And then all of a sudden life changes for you. Or you can make a meme and you just want, okay, let's go.
I mean, and, that's how, what's his name? What is that song? Take my horse to the old town road. Yeah, he literally made that to go just to go viral. Yeah. And now look at his, I don't like what he's doing, but he's gotten a career out of it.
Yeah. But in talking about, creativity and all that kind of stuff, especially for creating projects, when it comes to, for me personally, when it came to all the media aspects of making videos and things for Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and whatever other, outlets they're putting up on, One of the most important things is to just create consistently. So keep making those pieces of content, because one day someone's going to ask you, what have you made? What have you done? You say, hey, I'm a video editor, or I make videos, I make movies, I do skits, I make TikToks. Well, what have you made? And you're like, oh, well, I only made this one because I don't know if it's good and I don't want to continue making. Like, just keep making your stuff, because there's going to be somebody out there who can connect to you, who relates to you, who wants to hear your message or your story or the way that you're sharing it. And all you need is that one person to say, hey, I like what you're doing. And that can turn the table and shift the tides of saying, okay, I'm going to continue making this. And also you need someone, just in the same way that there's affirmation, as you mentioned earlier, you need those people who are going to critique you, but in positive ways. And in encouraging ways for you to be like, okay, I can make these changes and I can work on this. So, just being able to share the projects that you have made, and for people to say like, hey, what you're doing is good. Keep going. We need that motivation. We need that encouragement. And, we, especially in our faith, it all ties together. In our faith, we've got those times where we're like, Jesus, yes, we're boys, we're best friends, we're in this together. And then there's other days where we're just like, Lord, where are you?
Where'd you go? Where'd you go? I miss you so.
Yeah, we're singing the same song over here. But it's so true. So I think that, that's really important, that consistent creation. And, there's the transcendental values, which I love, which are goodness, truth, and beauty. And if what you're creating can echo that, you're on the right path.
Right. Absolutely. It's there's a lot of quotes out there for those of you who love JP2. JP2 has written this letter to the artist, and I highly recommend reading it. And he really hones in on like a lot of why creativity, or why your art, why all of this is necessary. And that letter is just really good. And if you don't want to read the whole letter, there's a lot of great quote outs from it, excerpts that you can just look up from that letter that are just, speaking to why it's great. For those who are stuck, I want to echo a lot of what Steven said and what we spoke about too earlier. But, speaking, especially those who are like trying to figure this out, like the only way you're going to really figure these out is to try things. Like you might be really good at pottery and you just don't know it because you've never done pottery. And you might be good at making glassware, but you just never made glassware before. So there's a lot of these classes and these painting classes, those wine and paint, classes that you can do and just see like, oh man, like I am actually really good at this stuff. And do it. A talent that I picked up pretty well that I haven't dived into since college is charcoal art. My professor was really impressed by some of my charcoal art that I did in my like art class back in community college. It's like, wow, I like really excelled in some of the things when it came to like shadows and depth perception. The first few were rough, but like throughout the semester, it just got better. We just constantly kept going back to charcoal, and charcoal just was like the medium that I like to use a lot. I haven't done that since. I probably would have to relearn that stuff, but like Steven said, when you find that thing that you created, it doesn't mean that you're automatically so good at it. It takes time and practice. It's going to take time to get to that point of like, you're like people, you can mentor people in this field. For me, podcasting became a thing because I tried to be a blogger where I would write stuff, and I realized my writing just was kind of like too academic, because like I was just coming out of college and I had that desire to just like really like type too much and use really wordy words. But also just trying to figure out that balance of speaking and being mindful and, intentional with what I said in those blogs just didn't make sense. So like, you know what, let me just turn this, like for most of you who know, like this became a podcast. Like the Living Ardently was the blog first, and now the podcast, and having conversations with people or just talking about faith what I was doing with my teens. I would honestly take some of the stuff that I was teaching my teens and just make them into podcasts. And then turning then turning this into conversations with people because I like to talk. I'm an extrovert. I like having conversations with people and learning from other people. And that's just something that I did well. And all I had to do was, I didn't even need a microphone like this. This is a $250 microphone, but I didn't need that. I started off with a $30 mic that I got off of Amazon. And honestly, didn't even need that. Like I could have do what Steven's doing today, recording on his cell phone. Just a voice memo.
I got all this going right now on my phone. And you know what? You can start with whatever you got.
Exactly.
If you want.
Exactly. You don't need all the fancy equipment to start. Like Steven said, just start and continue and be consistent in it, because it is honestly the most that you can do is learning like baptism by fire, like learning as you go. And that's how, if you listen to episode 1 to episode 81 of Living Ardently, they're vastly different episodes, like tones and way of speaking and flow of things, because I've learned, and just trying it out. Like I tried out blogging, even though that wasn't my strong suit, and it turned into this. Like whatever you try, it's going to lead to something else. So if you're struggling to find that way to be creative, if you don't feel like you're a creative person, trust me, all of us have that desire to create within us some way, shape, or form. And you just got to figure it out. Maybe it's cooking, who knows, baking, and you just haven't tried it yet.
Sir, you are absolutely correct. And one other piece of advice that I would throw in there, echoing and going off of what you were saying, is when you find something that you enjoy doing, you may not have a mentor, you may not have a teacher, you may not have somebody who could give you those tips and tricks and tutorials. However, there is a beautiful website out there called youtube.com where you can literally learn anything. Right. So for me, when it came to making beats, music production, editing videos, videography, photography, flying drones, how to make things look cinematic, I YouTubed everything. I've spent so many hours on YouTube looking things up. And if there's something that you're passionate about and you want to learn more, and you have that question of like, what is it called? Like, I want to change the string on a guitar, but like, I don't know how to. YouTube.com, how do I change my guitar strings? There's going to be 50,000 people out there. But just because you see somebody else doing that exact thing doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and make a video yourself about that thing. Adrian, when you were making this podcast, you could have said, there's millions of podcasts out there. Why is mine going to be any different? Because you're different. You're unique. You have a story. You have a voice, and it needs to be heard.
Right. Absolutely. Like it doesn't, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube channel, or whatever it is, like there's so much on there on YouTube to learn about. And if you really want to get invested in what you're doing and want to learn more and learn from the experts, you can even go to masterclass.com or something like that and pay to see some of these professionals, like how they got to this point and learn from them. Like I think MKBHD, somebody who does tech reviews, has a masterclass, and you can learn how he got from that to this, and like really helpful stuff on YouTube for free. But then if you wanted to go a step further, masterclass is also like a really good tool for you to figure it out. But honestly, like everything you need to start being creative is literally free right now, and you probably have it in front of you. And if you're struggling to figure out, like we said earlier, find a good and trustworthy friend to tell you what you're actually good at. It could be even your family, your parents, like, oh, like, Mom, what do you think I'm good at? Dad, what do you think I'm good at? And they can tell you like, hey, you're really good at this. And
being a pain in the neck.
Running my wallet dry. Like,
so I should be a professional shopper?
Right. Yes. Or maybe a fashion blogger. Hey, now we're talking.
There you go.
So there's just so much out there. There's so much things that you can do. And at the end of the day, remember that whatever you do, I think it's important to remember that you're not doing it for yourself. You're taking these gifts that were given to you by God, and hopefully, it doesn't always have to be religiously based, but like at the end of the day, at the Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam is one of my AMDG, which is for the greater glory of God. Like everything I do, like even if this podcast was not Catholic, it would be for the greater glory of God. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I have a little branch like Instagram called Ardently Tech, and I'm going to be talking about tech because I really love tech, especially Apple tech, and that's going to be like something that I pursue. Hopefully a little bit in the future. But that's not going to be faith-based. But it's still for the greater glory of God. You know, it's like something that we can do at the end of the day, like give praise to who gave you this gift. It's the least we can do.
That's right. Yeah. And like my good friend, John Levi, one of the members of Foundation, great Catholic rap group. In one of his verses, he says, I don't do it for the likes, I do it for the life. And same thing with us. We don't do it for the likes, we do it for the love, because the love of God has brought us into this life through his creation. And the love that he gives us, we're able to give back in the things that we're able to create and be a part of. So we don't do it for the likes, we do it for the life, we do it for the love.
That's amazing. That's really great. So if you are having trouble still, and if you, hopefully this podcast give you enough information for you to just start to get to a point where you can figure that out. And if you want to have some more Discord or ask more questions of how or what it could be, I can't guarantee that we'll be able to give you the right advice, but you can reach out to both of us, I'm sure, on Living Ardently or Igino.media and just kind of like check out our stuff. One last thing I think that is really helpful is following, not for comparison's sake, but if it gets to the comparison, you might want to unfollow these people, but following people that are doing the things that you think might be helpful. You know, like say you're getting into drone flying, follow like these people who are drone flying, getting these really great cinematic shots from their drones, or maybe it's even competitive drone flying. That's a thing. Drone racing. Follow people who are doing that and how they got to that point. Or, you know, if it's fashion blogging, maybe like seeing how they write their blogs and things like that, and how they review, or the YouTube channels, whatever. Follow these different people to get some creative juices flowing, kind of like a mood board in a way. And creating a mood board too, for those who are something that's visual, like that's really helpful. Figuring things to find inspiration, like Steven said, not as for comparison, but as to like see how can I get to a point like this, but make it me, you know? So do that. Hopefully that's helpful. Again, let us know if you have any more questions. I'd love to talk to you guys. We're trying to get to a point where we can be consistent and have episodes at least once a month. We're going to try to do that. We both have childs coming, you know, in 2022, and December is upon us. Christmas time is upon us. Typically,
Christmas is upon us.
Yeah. Christmas is upon us. So Merry Christmas for those, or I mean, it might be Advent by the time this comes out. It will be Advent by the time this comes out. Merry Christmas if it is Christmas, you know, when you listen to this, and happy ordinary time if it's ordinary time when you're listening to this.
Yeah, and if it's Halloween, then Halloween is upon us.
Listen,
shout out to Hubie Halloween. Shout out to all the kids at Bosco who have that stuck in my head.
Right. To those of Steven's students who are listening, go up to Mr. Aguino and be like, "Hey, just say that to his face. Halloween is upon us," and just that's it, straight face, and just walk away. If you're a student of Mr. Aguino, just do that for me, and then he'll let me know how many students actually did that. That'd be great.
That'd be great. That would be great.
So, if you have any last words there about this?
You know, the last thing that I would say is to not be afraid, and to be courageous, because to put yourself out there is tough. It's vulnerable. But if it's something that you're starting on your own, just be patient with yourself. Give yourself time, because it doesn't come overnight. And if it does, it's not going to last. Yeah. So be patient. Have courage, share your art with people that you know and you trust, or your creativity, and it'll come with time. So if there's something that you're passionate about, you're probably passionate about it for a reason, and share what you want to do with God. And if you're meant to do it, God will bless it, and it will be incredible, because I know for a fact that Adrian and I would not be having this conversation if God did not want us to do what we were doing, or to be a part of our journey. Yeah, absolutely. And there will be a lot of critics out there, and they can be so loud comparative to those who are uplifting whenever you start going public with your stuff. But listen, like there's going to be critics everywhere. There's people there's a guy who critiques our podcast episodes like
like especially in the beginning, like was really critiquing our episodes and like, okay, but guess what? We kept going, you know, and we learn and we grow. But listen, like they're gonna be out there. The haters are gonna be out there. Haters are everywhere. But keep doing you and keep trying. And if it's for the glory of God, like you said, it's gonna be blessed. So thanks for everyone who listened. Hopefully, again, this has been helpful. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can follow of our podcast for more over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even on YouTube. We post the episodes first on YouTube and then on a podcast later on. So if you want to get the first look at the podcast and see our wonderful faces on YouTube, go follow us subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ because I don't have / Living Ardently, but just look up Living Ardently podcast and you will be there. And then if you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a rating and review. That's really helpful to get the podcast a good rating. Somebody rated us a 4 and that knocked our score down. So don't be a hater. Like give us a 5 or just don't rate us at all. That's fine. Like that's fine. Like we don't have to get a 1 star. Not that we had one, but it's good. And yeah, everywhere else you can just subscribe and just follow on this journey. You can follow us on social media. Again, you can follow me personally. It's only Adrian and Living Ardently. Steve, where can they follow you?
You can check me out at egino.media, EGUINO.media.
Hey, and then, you know, all that stuff is all available in the show notes, as well as I'll be linking the letter to the artist from Pope John Paul II, because I think that is a really great piece of inspiration that I look to time again. So that'll be in the show notes as well. All of those links that we just talked about are going to be in the show notes. If you want to help us financially with all the things that we do to pay for our subscriptions that we pay for to make this podcast a thing, go use our affiliate link on Be a Heart Design. Get some stuff for you, for your family this Christmas season, as well as you can just donate. We have a donate link down below if you want to donate and help us afford this. Again, I have a kid coming. We both have kids coming. It'd be really great if I can pay Steven to be on these episodes, you know. But
wait, I'm not getting paid?
Oh. It's just all free labor, guys. So if we do this from the bottom of our hearts, again, for the glory of God. So if you guys want to help us financially to just sustain this project, this passion project of ours, you can donate or just, you know, check out our affiliate link and get you something nice. It's all great. It's all helpful. However you decide to do that, if you just prayers, it's all good. I think that's all I got. Check out our phone number. We have a phone number below that you can chat with us that way. And I think that's about it. Lots of things. Anything else? Anything we need to plug?
No, but this is not a real can of Coca-Cola.
Oh, that got me. I thought it was, I thought he was gonna say it's not sponsored by Coca-Cola, but if you want to.
Stay blessed.
All right, y'all. Stay blessed. God bless. And until next time, keep living ardently. Peace.